So it's been a while since I put out a video. It's been what? Over a month. And I'll talk about in a video a little bit later on why I haven't done anything really besides some community post. I'll explain that a little bit later in another video. But I did put out a community post that I was going to, in the next week or so, cover some topics. And I am going to try to do that. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep my word this time on that. And I'm not ready for this video, so if I stumble, I do apologize. I stumble anyways, but it's late Saturday night. Um, and I was going to wait until Monday to do this video or Tuesday, but I have a very busy work week. So I decided, why not? I'm just going to go ahead and it's pretty quiet tonight. So I thought, oh, what the heck? I'm just going to go ahead and try to do this video now. And it will probably be tomorrow, Sunday, sometime before I upload it and get it on YouTube. But the first topic I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about careers and conduct on social media. And it seems to be a topic in this drama circle. Okay. So I figured that's where I'm going to start with, and then I will go ahead and do some other videos about, the topics that I said that I was going to talk about with my community post. So anyways, the first thing that I wanted to make clear is I do not condone going after people's jobs, okay? I do not. Because a little bit later, I am going to talk about what would warrant contacting somebody's job. Or is there anything that would warrant doing that, okay? Like I said, I do not condone going after somebody's job. So that is the big question. Is there a line where something would warrant that? Now, I'm also going to talk about how I have seen personally, and I know others have too, where people's jobs have been messed with. And I will talk about that a little later as well. Again, for people in the back, because I know how things get twisted, right? They absolutely do. I don't condone it. All right. So, anyways, moving along. In certain careers, or I'm going to be tongue-tied. I'm just going to warn y'all. In certain careers or professions that you choose, you are going to be held to a higher standard on how you conduct yourself on social media than others. Now, here's another thing I want to put out there. I am not downing any job, okay? All jobs are important. All. Absolutely. But some jobs out there, they're not going to be held to the same standard when it comes to social media. And I'm going to explain why as I go along. And what I mean by that is when you're in the medical field, if you are in like law enforcement, police officer, or if you're a fireman or a teacher, or even, I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? EMT. There's other ones, like if you have a license or a certification or had to go to school for certain things, right? There is a difference than if you work like in retail or at fast food, or if you like work in the mall or maybe even in a factory. Now, some of these other places, they might have their rules as well, where they have talked to you about social media. Okay? They might have said, you have to watch what you do on social media. But these other places, like in the medical field, and like I said, law enforcement and firemen, police officers, teachers, etc. Those are just a few. There's like a big list. You know what I'm talking about. They absolutely have told their employees when they're hired, or even when people are getting their license or when they're going to school, but especially when they're hired, that they are to conduct themselves on social media a certain way. Now, we have to remember that there's a lot of people that are retired now, before social media. But you guys get what I'm saying. They have been told about social media and that they are to conduct themselves a certain way on social media. They have to be careful. Some places, when they hire you, they do look on social media when they're doing their background checks. Now, granted, I don't know about Instagram and all that stuff or whatever. I know Facebook, you can lock down your Facebook and stuff like that. But I do, we know that they look on social media sometimes. Now, like I said, some of these other places, like at Walmart or, some of these other places, they might tell their employees the same thing. I don't know. But absolutely, these other career choices have told their people that they are to conduct themselves a certain way. That's a fact. And all the people out there that are nurses, doctors, paramedics, pharmacists, teachers, y'all know, law enforcement, you know that this is a fact, right? You have been told this. It doesn't mean you can't go on social media and voice your opinion or have a social media platform or whatever. You can have your freedom of speech, but you still have to have a little higher standards than some other people, because you are representing your company, basically, okay? And we also know, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about people that have gotten fired. Now, why is this an issue, or why am I talking about this? That's what I'm going to get at. Because there's been an issue, and yes, we're going to bring them up because this is where the issue is coming from, and this is Siren, okay? Siren has done some shady things on YouTube. And Siren is the one that has put it out that he is a pharmacist. Now, here's the thing. You can put out whatever you want, and I've said it before. Some people overshare. They overshare, and there's nothing wrong with sharing. But this is a drama community, and there's a lot of falling outs, right? A lot of falling outs. Siren is the one that shared his story on Natasha's, all right? He put out that he was a pharmacist. He put out the story We heard the story about his wife, about his children, about what his children accused him of, about his children being taken away, about them being adopted out. That all came from Siren, his story. Of course, people that did not like Siren is going to run with that, and they're going to say what they say, right? That's why I said, things that are personal to you, things that are personal, that could be could be used against you. I mean, I have shared a few personal things as well, but things that are really going to be used against you, something that extreme is something maybe you shouldn't be sharing with a bunch of strangers, right? Because then when people want to make accusations, well, you've already put that out there. That's something that you were accused of. Maybe not guilty of, but you were accused of it. That was your own words. So when other people are saying that you were accused of it, I mean, those were your own words. I mean, can you blame other people for saying it when you said it yourself? I mean, I don't know. But we seen the behavior on Natasha's, right? The bullying, the nastiness. And we see it continue. Now, not always. There was singing. I mean, I enjoyed Siren singing. The makeup, putting on the makeup and stuff like that. Okay? But the thing is some of the things that Siren is doing that is job related, and people are saying, well, what? Because Siren is saying, I'm off the clock. I'm not a pharmacist when I am on YouTube. But the thing is, like I said, you are still held to a higher standard than someone that might be working at McDonald's or someone that is just a YouTuber, a creator, and they're doing this as a job. Okay? So when somebody is making a comment about what you do for a living, okay, saying that, and I'm going to say this in a nice way, when you're sitting with somebody and they make a comment about your job, like self-pleasuring, that you're self-pleasuring in children's medication, and I get exactly what Lycan was saying there. No, Siren did not say that. Lycan did. And he was saying, oh, these people might be saying that they're scared that you're going to do this in children's medication. Okay? But he said it, Lycan said the exact words. Okay? I'm being very rated G. Instead of Siren doing the right thing, because this is about his job, okay? Instead of saying, I take my job seriously, that's something I don't joke about, he giggled, okay? And he said that would make, don't quote me word for word, that would make the pills sticky, or that would make them sticky. Okay, he joked with it. That was not the right thing to do. We know what he meant by the sticky pills when Lycan made that statement. That was bringing his job and what he does as a pharmacist into YouTube and putting the children's meds and self-pleasure, okay, and sticky pills, all that together, that's disgusting. Like I said, Siren could have done the right thing and shut that down in a heartbeat. But he didn't. And then, he makes the excuse, I'm allowed to have a social life. Well, absolutely, you do. You're allowed to have a social life. And he says, I'm not on the clock when I'm on YouTube. I'm not a pharmacist when I'm on YouTube. Well, no, Siren, you're always a pharmacist. You're always a pharmacist. You're right. You're not on the clock. You're not being paid as a pharmacist, but you're always a pharmacist. And that was absolutely disgusting. You played along with that, okay? That's not something you joke about. In my opinion, you are allowing other people to jeopardize your career, your money. What? To just fit in? To just fit in, to have somewhere to sit? Are they going to, if God forbid you would end up losing your job, is Lycan and everybody else going to pay your bills? Now, Siren wants to say, someone would have to report me and yada, yada, yada. They'd have to give their name. No. All it takes is the right people to watch you and watch how you act. And if they feel that you might be a danger, like I said, are they going to pay your bills? And why would Lycan put you in that situation over and over again? Just like Siren making the comment about the minor that didn't want to do the shot and that it was the mother's fault or something, or, bringing work again. Like I said, unprofessional. A lot of people don't like shots. I mean, he took that personal, in my opinion. They don't like shots. Okay? I don't like shots. But bringing that into YouTube. Now, some people will talk about their work and stuff, but I mean, that's just so unprofessional. And I know there's been so much other things talked about when it comes to him being a pharmacist. Now, going further, he has talked about Granny's, Jessica Lynn's hoo-ha. All right? Now, a lot of people that sit over there, they're like, well, he could be a stand-up comedian. And he even doubled down and said that he is not, again, don't quote me word for word, he is not ashamed or he doesn't take back or whatever about talking about her hoo-ha. Now, some might think that could be sexual harassment. Now we have some that will say, what? But Granny has talked about Lycan's manhood. So that's a double standard. She could talk about Lycan's manhood, right? We know Lycan has talked about hers. But why can't Siren talk about hers? Well, okay, stop. We're talking about Granny is a creator. Actually, all three of them are creators, right? Granny's a creator solely. Lycan is a creator solely. He might do some side stuff too, right? Siren is a creator, but he's a pharmacist. He works in the medical field. He's held to a higher standard. He works for a company. He works for a company. And he is talking about another female, about her lady bits. Now, Granny, she might have clapped back at Siren about a few things or whatever, but I don't think she has ever talked about Siren's manhood. Okay? So he is trying to defend his friend. Instead of letting those two clap back at each other, right? He's defending his friend. So he's going to talk about Granny's lady bits, right? To defend his friend. This is a professional. He's in the medical field. But he's going to attack a female to defend his friend. Let that sink in. I mean, he's close to, a pharmacist is real close to being a doctor. Some want to say, but, I don't even know if I said this, yeah, I did. He could be a stand-up comedian. He's not a stand-up comedian. Okay? He's not. Like I said, people are held at different standards when it comes to social media behaviors. That's just how it is. No matter how unfair it might seem. When you go and choose a career path, and that's how these companies, and maybe even the board, would see this. Now, think about it. Just think about it. If somebody would have turned him in, or even if the board would look at him, or maybe even his job, right? And they ask him, let's just say, we're talking about him discussing Jessica Lynn's hoo-ha, right? And they ask him why. Why are you on a platform that is forever, right, talking about a woman's hoo-ha in this manner? What reason do you have to do this? Okay? What would his response be? What good response? Because he can't say, well, she was talking about mine. I mean, that would be like, okay, how old are you? Oh, she did it first, yada, yada, yada. What would your reason be? You can't say, oh, well, it was just dark humor. He would have to use, well, I'm in a drama circle. I mean, come on. I'm in a drama community, and my friend, Lycan, well, they kind of dated for like 3 weeks, and, well, they both talk about each other's junk, and he was talking about hers, and she was talking about his, and, well, I was defending him. I mean, come on. How's that going to look? I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, we all remember, right, when he was in Natasha's community, and that phone call that Natasha recorded and dropped for everybody to hear. And I called that out. I said it was wrong of Natasha to do that because it was a personal phone call. And I didn't think it was right because, they were friends. But with that phone call, you have him very upset over two people, two strangers, because at that time he did not go meet this other person. Now I understand you can become friends with people on the net, but they're two strangers. And these two strangers they had a falling out. And he didn't know what he was going to do because he wanted to be friends with both. But one of them he's going to follow wherever they go, right? And he wanted them to fix it so he could be friends with both. And he's having a complete meltdown. And we heard that meltdown, right? He wanted them to fix it. And he literally said that because of these two people having a breakup, and he had to choose, or he felt like he had to choose, it made him have a nervous breakdown. Let that sink in. A nervous breakdown over strangers in a drama circle. And that's who hundreds, maybe thousands of people are in trust of their medications on a daily. Okay? Just saying. It's pretty scary. So now we're going to move on because a lot of people are saying, I heard this too, well, doctors, because Siren kept saying, I'm allowed to have a social life, yada yada, absolutely. And they're saying, well, doctors, they say disgusting things. They do this and they do that. If some of them aren't practicing morals, ethics, stuff like that, they may say disgusting things to their colleagues in private. Okay? Not on social media for the world to hear. There's a difference. Does it make it any better? No. But I'm sure that there's some doctors that do that, just like with any other career, profession, whatever. Okay? You're going to have some that do that. But they're doing it in private. Okay? They're not doing it on social media. Now, you have some that say that there's some doctors that are stand-up comedians. I'm sure there is. I mean, I haven't really looked into it. Now, I love stand-up comedians too, but I'm sure if there's some doctors that are stand-up comedians and if they're kind of the stand-up comedians that are raunchy, which, hey, I'm all for some raunchy comedians. I ain't gonna lie. I am sure that these doctors they have their own practice, okay? And what I mean by that is a lot of doctors are in groups, okay? They work for a company, just like Siren works for a company. Nurses work for companies. I'm sure that the doctors that are in the do stand up or whatever, they own their own practice. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Because if they work for a company or they're in a group, then they would be representing the group or the company they work for, and I don't think that's going to fly. Okay? I don't. Because could you imagine your doctor being, I just don't think that would fly. So I'm just guessing that they probably own their own private group, and so that way they're representing themselves. So, you know, they're only, if they're going to hurt anybody, they're only going to hurt themselves. Okay, that's my guess. I mean, nothing wrong with comedians, all right? And there's not, but you know, comedians get paid money to stand up and whatever. Guys, you're YouTubers, you're not comedians. There's a difference. And the thing is these comedians, they are not dogging people to hurt them or to go after them because they don't like them, right? You guys are. And you're targeting somebody. Big difference. Totally different. Now we're going to talk about, would it warrant someone to call someone's job? Like I said, I do not condone that, okay? I don't. But we got to look into that. Now, look into people that have lost jobs. I know that when the election was going on, and I'm sure that you guys have seen this on social media, like on Facebook, or even seen it in the news. A lot of people lost their jobs because of when, like I said, when the election was going on, there was a lot of emotions going on. People were yelling free speech, and they were very vocal on social media. And people did lose their jobs because they had their Facebooks opened up. They said what they felt. People were sending people's jobs, this and that. A lot of people lost their jobs over social media. So we're going to give some scenarios. Like I said, these are just scenarios for you to think about. So just imagine these scenarios, right? Imagine if you seen your family doctor, not on Facebook, but on YouTube, in a drama circle, in this drama circle. Imagine it would be in this drama circle. Because Facebook would be a little bit different, because sometimes when you type out words, sometimes you can, like text, sometimes it's misleading. You might misunderstand, but when you can actually see somebody or hear somebody, sometimes, it's different. When you can actually, especially if you can hear them, right? Their tone and whatever. But just imagine that all of a sudden you hear your doctor or see your doctor in a drama group. This is say it's a man. We're just going to say it's a man. This is a person you trust with your medical, with your well-being, with your life, with the doctor. Their oath is first do no harm, right? And you're hearing them in this drama group, and they're making jokes, or they're just, saying stuff out of the blue, and they're like just chit-chatting, and they're like maybe saying the N-word, dropping it every just now and again, right? Or they're making comments like, yeah, well, the next time this person comes in, they're an addict. The next time they come in, I'm not treating them. You know, maybe this doctor made some rounds at a hospital, you know, did some rounds. Next time they come in, I'm not treating them. I'm not. They've been in, they're frequent flyers. Next time they come in, that's it. I'm done. They can just do without, you know. Nothing I do is going to do them any good anyway, so I'm just not going to treat them anymore. What would you think? What would you think about this person that, like I said, first do no harm, and they're in charge of your medical. They're in charge of making sure that your health, or maybe even your children or your grandchildren, right? Maybe they're also saying some pretty nasty things about some other females, or maybe even some males in the group, about some of their medical conditions. They're saying, oh no, there's no way that they had this or that, even though they've never seen their file, never seen any medical reports or something. They're just guessing, right? They're just guessing. No, they didn't have it. Or they're talking about a female's vajayjay, right? What would you think? And this was your doctor. Or you have a nurse. Maybe it's a nurse you know that takes care of a family member that's in the drama group. And you hear them say some of the same things. You know, a nurse, they take an oath of the Florence Nightingale, right? And they're saying some of the stuff that, oh my gosh, you know, I'm so tired after a 12-hour shift that, I ain't gonna, I'm just not gonna chart. Or, you know, that patient, you know, I know I'm supposed to be doing vitals and stuff before I leave, but heck, I just made them wait. Or they say, you know, they're just joking around. It's just dark humor. And maybe they say some of the same things. And they're like, yeah, you know, these addicts, we got too many in the world. So the less of them, the better, you know, stuff like that. Or, you know, shoot, if they don't want a shot, they don't want to get a flu shot, if they don't want to take the C virus vaccines, well then, if they get it, tough shit, you know, stuff like that in this drama thing. And this is someone that takes care of, like I said, someone that you love. But, oh, it's dark humor. But, yeah, it's dark humor. Or maybe you see a pharmacist, that's your neighborhood pharmacist in this drama circle, right? And they're making, you go down and you get your meds from this pharmacist. And they're talking about a female who is hoo-ha in this drama circle. They're talking about HPV and they don't know what the hell they're talking about because they're giving misinformation. That's not true. Open that book again. They're saying some disgusting things about children's pills. And this is a pharmacist that you go down and get your pills from, right? But it's just dark humor, right? Just dark humor. You've seen them having a meltdown over strangers, and they say they had a nervous breakdown. and saying some really disgusting things about strangers. Or you might see a fireman, someone that says that they're a fireman, and they're making jokes on there saying, you know, that person, I don't like them. So, if they were on fire, I wouldn't piss on them. Or if they're in a burning building, I'd just let them go. Or what if someone is a police officer, right? And they're saying, well, you know what? That bee, they're calling, all the women in the drama circle, the bee, they're all bees, and, they deserve to get bitch slapped. And you know that these officers are going to a lot of domestic violence calls, but this is how they're talking to women in this drama circle. Or what about a teacher? Someone that's a teacher in this drama circle, and they're talking about kids and calling them, a bunch of thugs or, little brats, and, just saying, I really can't stand kids. I just can't stand them. I can't stand being around them. You guys see where I'm going here? See where I'm going here? That is why people in these careers are held to a higher standard when it comes to their behaviors on social media. Now, some might say, well, what about someone that works at McDonald's? What if they go and say some, crappy stuff of what they might do to food? I get it, all right? And like I said, some of the companies might say, you got to conduct yourself, on social media a certain way. I don't know that. I do know for a fact on these other people, okay? I know that for a fact. And yes, everybody should watch how they conduct themselves on social media. They don't. They should, but they don't. But these other people can lose their job, and they have lost their job. There has been police officers that have lost their jobs. There has been doctors that have lost their jobs. There has been nurses that have lost their jobs. There has been pharmacists that have lost their jobs. Teachers have lost their jobs because of what they put out on social media. And other people, have lost their jobs because of stuff they have said on social media, on Facebook. That is a fact. Now, should you go out running and looking for BS to go call somebody's work? No, you shouldn't. That's ridiculous. And no, I don't agree. And I know it's going to go back to, well, this person's talking about this person's junk and yada, yada, yada. We're not going to get into that in this video, okay? That's not what we're talking about here. I don't want this, what about this and what about that? We're sticking to this right here, all right? Yes, you are allowed to have a social life. You're allowed to hang out with whoever you want to hang out with. But when they bring your job into it, right? When they start talking about certain things that has to do with your job, then that's when you say no. Or if you know that it goes against your ethics, right? And you know what that is, okay? You're an adult. And when you know that it might cost you your career, then that's when you have to step back and say, is it worth it? Is belonging to a community worth it? Are they going to pay my bills if I lose my job? No, they're not. Are they going to care if I lose my job? No, they might make what? Everybody might make a community post. They might make a few videos, but are they going to pay my bills? No, they're not. So is it really worth it? It's not worth it. Nobody is worth losing your damn job over. So is it worth degrading somebody? You can put your point, you can make your point, okay? You can make your point, clap back in the Strama circle, right? Without degrading somebody. But it seems like some people just don't know how to do that. And you can do other things too. You can have fun and do your thing without going that low. But it's all about those clicks and views, right? Or to trigger somebody, because some people like to trigger too. But it's the people that have the careers, right? The people that have the careers that have to worry about losing their jobs. The people that don't have the careers, they don't have to worry about that. Something to think about. So anyways, with that, I'm going to go. That's what I wanted to talk about on this video. All right. I know I got a little mumbled jumbled there, but hopefully I made my point. Hopefully, you know, it's understood. And, you know, this BS too, that you have to have a name and fill out all this paper to be turned in and yada yada. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's a bunch of BS. Okay? But still, you should not be turning people in and going after people's job just because you don't like somebody. You shouldn't be doing that. But these people that have these jobs as well, they should learn to conduct themselves in a different way when they're on social media. Just saying. So anyways, I'm going to go. I've been on here long enough, and I'll get to those other videos. And everybody have a great evening. It'll be morning or maybe afternoon when I release this. But anyways, we'll just catch you again.